Japan is often plagued by earthquakes and volcanic disasters due to its location in one of the most active seismic and volcanic zones on the planet. There are several volcanoes and hot springs in Japan due to the collision of continental and oceanic plates that occur throughout the Japanese archipelago. Despite the country's efforts to prevent the disaster, it has been hit by several major earthquakes that caused significant damage. Today, we are going to look back at the horrific earthquake that struck Japan in 2011. On March 11, 2011, an earthquake of magnitude 9.1 struck the Japan Trench off the northeastern coast of Honshu. The tsunami caused by the earthquake reached the coast in 30 minutes, overtopping seawalls and shut down 3 nuclear reactors within days. The 2011 Tohoku Earthquake and Tsunami, also known as the Great East Japan Earthquake and Tsunami, killed over 18,000 people and left thousands more missing. The catastrophic quake had the highest magnitude ever recorded in Japan and was the 3rd largest in the globe since 1900. Here's how it happened. The Iwate Prefecture was hit by a tsunami triggered by an earthquake on March 11, 2011. The tsunami also affected a 2,000-kilometer stretch of Japan's Pacific coast, according to researchers. Caused by the earthquake, a tsunami cut out power to and cooled 3 Fukushima Daiichi reactors, resulting in a major nuclear disaster. During the first 3 days, all 3 nuclear cores melted to a great extent. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the 2011 event was caused by thrust faulting on the subduction zone plate boundary between the Pacific and North American plates. This area has a high chance of seismic activity, which has the potential to cause tsunamis. Previous earthquakes that caused tsunamis in the region included the devastating disasters of 1611, 1896, and 1933. The Japan National Police Agency reported 15,899 dead, 2,527 missing and presumed deaths, and 6,157 wounded from the Great East Japan Earthquake as of December 2020. Disaster aftereffects. The Tohoku Earthquake in 2011 wreaked havoc on the region. The tsunami, the Fukushima nuclear power plant problem, the repercussions on individuals, and the cultural and economic issues that arose were just some of the consequences. More than 123,000 houses were destroyed and almost 1 million were damaged in Japan as a result of the catastrophe. The tsunami was responsible for 98% of the damage. The costs of the earthquake and tsunami alone in Japan were estimated to be $220 billion. The 2011 Great Eastern Japan Earthquake and Tsunami is now the most expensive natural disaster in history. Despite the fact that the tsunami had the greatest impact on Japan, the disaster was genuinely global. According to the Japanese Foreign Ministry, 134 countries and 39 international organizations have offered support to assist Japan in recovering from the numerous effects. Coastal sea level gauges in over 25 Pacific Rim countries, Antarctica, and Brazil's west coast of the Atlantic Ocean recorded the tsunami. In Hawaii, the tsunami caused $31 million in damage, and in California, the tsunami caused $100 million in damage and recovery to marine facilities. French Polynesia, the Galapagos Islands, Peru, and Chile have all reported damage. Luckily, thanks to the Pacific Tsunami Warning System and its ties to national-level warning and rescue systems, loss of life was limited outside of Japan. Even though the tsunami waves along Japan's Pacific coastline were responsible for nearly all of the deaths and much of the damages, the earthquake inflicted widespread damage. A petrochemical plant in Sendai, a piece of the city in Kensenuma in Miyagi Prefecture, northeast of Sendai, and an oil refinery in Ichihara in Chiba Prefecture, near Tokyo, were among the notable fires. Thousands of homes were entirely or partially damaged in Fukushima, Ibakari, and Chiba prefectures as a result of the earthquakes and its aftershocks. Roads and train lines were damaged, electric power was knocked out, and water and sewerage systems were interrupted throughout eastern Tohoku's infrastructure. A dam near Fukushima City, the prefectural capital, ruptured in Fukushima. Nuclear power plant crisis. The Fukushima nuclear power plant meltdown, which has been classified as the world's worst nuclear catastrophe in 25 years, was the most severe and long-lasting result of the Tohoku earthquake. The factory, which is located 150 miles northeast of Tokyo, was hit hard by the quake. The Fukushima nuclear power plant lost power and had to rely on diesel generators to keep cooling water flowing around the overheated nuclear core. Despite the fact that the complex was prepared for the earthquake, the tsunami that followed knocked out the critical cooling systems, causing a sequence of explosions and meltdowns. The residents in the surrounding region were evacuated right away. The unexpected meltdown not only placed people's lives in jeopardy, but it also wreaked havoc on the environment. The air and water left behind by the tsunami emitted radioactive substances. Later, it was discovered that water samples near the plant's ocean discharge point contained 4,385 times more radiation than the maximum safety standards, and that radiation, far beyond legal limits, was found in 11 varieties of Fukushima area vegetables. This made life even more difficult for the malnourished victims of the calamity. Japan is one of the only countries capable of handling a disaster of this magnitude. It's too soon to know the full extent of the earthquakes and tsunamis' devastation in the country's northeast coast. Even as the waves continue to pound the shore, it's clear that Japan's preparedness has saved it from a far more disastrous outcome. More tall structures in Japan are designed with deep foundations, the most advanced of which is supported by shock absorbers that allow the structure to move with the earth rather than against it. In the event of a major earthquake, Japan's iconic bullet trains come to a complete stop. There has never been a fatality on the Shinkansen system in its 4 decades of transporting millions of people across Japan at high speeds. Individual readiness varies, but many houses have an earthquake survival kit that includes bottled water, dry meals, a first aid kit, and torches with radios that transmit regular updates. Following the 2011 earthquake, Japan Prime Minister Kan Naoto established an emergency command center in Tokyo with a large number of rescue personnel, and 100,000 members of the Japanese Self-Defense Force were quickly deployed to deal with the disaster. Furthermore, the Japanese government requested that U.S. military soldiers stationed in the region assist in relief operations, and a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier was dispatched to the area. Several countries, including Australia, China, India, New Zealand, South Korea, and the United States, dispatched rescue teams, and scores of other countries and important international relief organizations, including the Red Cross and Red Crescent, committed financial and material assistance to Japan. Hundreds of thousands of people were in shelters in the immediate aftermath of the disaster, often with inadequate or non-existent supplies of food or water, while tens of thousands more were stranded and isolated in the worst-hit areas as rescuers sought to reach them. Within days, the number of displaced individuals in the Fukushima area increased as the situation with the nuclear reactors on the coast deteriorated and people fled the confined area. Many people were eventually able to find alternative lodging in the Tohoku area. Much of northern Honshu's transportation and service infrastructure was at least partially rebuilt in the weeks following the catastrophe, and repairs continued until train lines and major highways were completely operating again. However, the ongoing situation at the Fukushima plant continues to disrupt the region's power supply, resulting in periodic power outages and rolling blackouts. In the months following the tragedy, the region's manufacturing output was significantly hampered by the loss of enterprises and factories due to earthquake and tsunami destruction, as well as the uncertainty surrounding electricity supply. Semiconductors and other high-tech products, as well as autos, were among the most affected industries. Yet, the economy was back on track, with many affected businesses able to restore at least similar output. Industrial output virtually returned to pre-disaster levels in the early months of 2012. Let us know if you have ever experienced an earthquake in the comment section below. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and to subscribe if you're new to our channel. We'll be back very soon with another video. Until then, stay safe and take care.